Great day, dear ones. Today we are going to discuss on the topic phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are very common among the native speakers of English. They are used informally and they are made up of a verb and a particle, or sometimes two particles put together. The particle changes the meaning of the verb. There are very many number of phrasal verbs in practice, which makes it difficult for a second language learner to apply them while speaking. They often carry more than one meaning, so it makes it very hard for the learner to choose the right meaning according to the situation. They are used only in specific situations, and since they have a narrow meaning, it becomes mandatory to learn the meaning of every phrasal verb and then start to use them effectively to gain more fluency in the language. With this, let us see what we are going to discuss under the subject phrasal verbs. The contents will be the definition, meaning of phrasal verbs, features of phrasal verbs, and the points you're going to remember when you are going to learn the phrasal verbs. And phrasal verbs and formality which do not have an object, which must have an object. How do I know where to put the object? So you should know where to put the object in certain conditions. We will be studying that also. And some of the common phrasal verbs which are used in the spoken language. Okay. Let us see the definition of phrasal verbs. A phrase such as take off or look down that combines a verb with a preposition or adverb or both, and that functions as the verb, whose meaning is different from the combined meanings of the individual verbs. So this is the definition of phrasal verbs. Let us see what is a phrase first. A phrase is a combination of two or three words put together to give a single meaning. Okay. So here, since we are terming it as phrasal verbs, as you know that verbs always indicate action. These phrasal verbs, when they are put together, they indicate an action. So you have to remember this. A group of words that are going to indicate an action is known as a phrasal verb. Why they are called as phrasal verbs? Because 2 to 3 words are combined together. But they cannot stand as a statement, but they can stand as a group of words and give a meaning. So with this, we have to understand that the phrasal verb will start with the verb and then it will be followed by a preposition or an adverb, which is termed as a particle. These words which are combined together, they have different meanings when they are seen as words. But when they are put together, they just indicate an action in one. They just indicate an action in with the meaning. Okay. So let us see what are phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs are phrases that indicate actions, and they are generally used in spoken English and informal text. When you are speaking in English and when you are writing letters or when you are conversing with someone very close to you, you will be using these phrasal verbs. So examples of such verbs include turn down, come across, and run into. The meaning of phrasal verbs. It is very difficult to understand the meaning of phrasal verbs when they have a figurative or a idiomatic meaning. Let us see. What is it? Some phrasal verbs give a literal meaning. That is, as you read it, you will be able to understand the meaning of that sentence. Some phrasal verbs have a literal meaning. They can be easily understood. She opened the door and looked outside. You can understand that looked outside is the phrasal verb, and you are able to understand that as the girl opened the door, she was able to look outside. But there are phrasal verbs which have idiomatic meaning. What do you mean by idiomatic meaning? That is, they have a figurative meaning. So I will give you an example. He used to whistle in the dark. Okay, so it actually literally means different. Actually, you will be taking the understanding that he will be whistling in the dark, but that is not the meaning. The idiomatic meaning of what he is doing is he takes everything optimistically. He has a positive side of seeing things. Okay, this is the figurative meaning. So there are so many phrasal verbs with figurative meanings, and it makes it hard for us to understand the meaning of phrasal verbs at times. So what are the features of phrasal verbs? The features of phrasal verbs, they can be separated into transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. So they can be separated, transitive verbs which can be separated, and intransitive verbs are not separated. Sometimes the preposition or adverb is placed either after the verb or after the object. Let us see an example. Mary made up a really entertaining story. That means that Mary was able to write a very interesting story. So we can split this made up by introducing a pronoun in between the verb and the particle. If the object is a pronoun, however, the preposition or adverb has to be placed after the pronoun. So now we can see she made it up. It is the pronoun of the entertaining story. So instead of entertaining story, they are using it here. Now the phrasal verb is split. The verb comes first and the particle comes after the pronoun. Okay, so this phrasal verb is separable. So it is known as separable phrasal verbs. Another example, some phrasal verbs are always inseparable. So for example, I came across some old photos in a drawer. What does it mean that she saw some old photos in a drawer? So came across says that she she suddenly saw. Like it can be like that without any intention. She suddenly came across some old photos in a drawer. So now we cannot separate came across. So we can see that these are the features of phrasal verbs. They can be separated. Some phrasal verbs can be separated, and some phrasal verbs cannot be separated. So the points to remember when you are going to learn phrasal verbs. A phrasal verb is a verb that is made up of two or three words. The first word is a verb. Remember that the first word is a verb and the second word is a particle. Always the first word will be a verb which is followed by a particle. What is a particle? It is either an adverb or a preposition such as in, up or on. Okay. Examples of common phrasal verbs include get up, turn off and deal with. Here you can see that the first word starts with a verb followed by a particle. So there are also some phrasal verbs which have two particles. For example, catch up with and look forward to. It is difficult to guess the meaning of a phrasal verb from the meaning of each of the two or three parts. So when they are put together, they give a different meaning. And even one phrasal verb can give more than one meaning. So you have to know what meaning it is giving according to the context which you are in. Phrasal verbs and formality. So why do we can actually have a single word instead of grouping the words as phrasal verbs. But why you are using it is when you are using a single word, it becomes very formal. But when you are using it with the two or three words combined together to give a meaning, it becomes informal. Sometimes a single word can be used instead of the phrasal verb, but often the single word sounds more formal and more technical than the phrasal verb. That's why we are using phrasal verbs to make it more colloquial. Instead of the phrasal verb get up, leave your bed in the morning, you can use the single verb rise. It sounds more formal and not informal. Okay, phrasal verbs which do not have an object. Some phrasal verbs do not have an object. As you see here, James stood up and walked to the window. So what does it mean? That the person stood up. To stand up means to move from a sitting position to a standing position. That's all. There is no object here. Just the action is denoted. But some phrasal verbs must have an object and the object can come either before or after the particle. These are usually called separable phrasal verb as we saw in the slide before. For example, to turn off, make a mission is a separable phrasal verb. You can either turn something off or you can turn off something. So I turned off the TV, I turned the TV off. Both mean the same and they can be used together as well as split. How do I know where to put the object? So when you are having separable phrasal verbs, where you are going to place the object. If the object is a pronoun, example, it, them, him or her, etc., the pronoun must come before the particle. So how the pronoun will come? The pronoun will come before the particle and after the verb. I turned it off is correct. You cannot say it as I turned off it. And if the object is a long phrase, okay, remember that we are going to place an object. If the object is A pronoun, you will be placing it in between the verb and the particle. But if it is a long phrase, if the object is a long phrase, the long phrase usually comes after the particle. I turned off the lights in the front room is correct. I turned the light in the front room off is not correct. Okay, let us see some of the common phrasal verbs which I used. Idioms using break. Let us see. Breakdown. What does it mean? Stop working. Well, let us see an example. I was late to school because my car broke down. It did not work, so I was not able to reach school on time. Break even. That is neither gain nor loss. Next, idioms using bring. Bring about. That is made it done or caused. She hopes to bring about a change in his attitude. You will be able to understand the phrasal verbs only when they are put in a sentence. Then only you will understand the context under which the phrasal verb has been used. Okay. Bring in, meaning yield or earn. His investments bring in a profit each year. So with this investments and the profit, we can understand the meaning of the phrasal verb bring in. So it is going to give him more profit. Okay, idioms using call. Call it a day. Stop an activity. What is the meaning of call it a day? Stop an activity. The ballet master told the dancers that it was time to call it a day. So what do you mean by this? That we have to stop dancing and we have to proceed. Okay. Call something off. What is the meaning of call something off? That is, you're going to cancel something which you have planned to do. The picnic was called off because of the rain. So only with this sentence, you can identify the meaning of the phrasal verb. You have to do a homework on this. You have to find out the list of phrasal verbs, their meanings, and then start applying when you are speaking. There are so many phrasal verbs that it might seem difficult to learn them all, but many of these phrases become natural after a while. All it takes is some repetition and practice. Thank you.